Have you ever wondered how the sign of Gemini could influence someone's dark tendencies? Geminis are known for their versatility, intelligence, and social adaptability, but those very traits, when left unchecked, can lead to a more dangerous side of their personality. In this video, we'll explore how the dark side of Gemini manifests and how it can influence criminal behavior. We'll also look at some real-life cases of serial killers with Gemini sun to illustrate these tendencies. Gemini, ruled by Mercury, is an air sign associated with communication, adaptability, and intellectual pursuits. On the surface, Geminis are charming, witty, and curious. However, the same energy that makes them so engaging can also fuel a darker side when their need for excitement and stimulation isn't balanced. The shadow side of Gemini often involves manipulation, deception, and an alarming detachment from moral and emotional consequences. They can become restless and unpredictable, constantly seeking new thrills to escape boredom, even if those thrills lead to destructive behavior. Another trait that contributes to the darker side of Gemini is their need for constant intellectual stimulation and excitement. This can often make them seem fickle or unreliable in relationships, as they're easily bored and may seek out new experiences or people to keep themselves entertained. When a Gemini feels trapped in a routine or stagnant environment, they can become frustrated, restless, and may even resort to deceptive behavior to create some form of excitement or change. This can lead them to a dangerous path where the thrill of deceit or manipulation becomes a game. In extreme cases, this thrill seeking can manifest in more destructive or illegal behavior as they look for increasingly risky ways to alleviate their boredom and regain a sense of control over their lives. What makes Gemini's dark side particularly dangerous is their ability to adapt and mask their intentions. While other signs may exhibit their darker tendencies more openly, Gemini's duality allows them to hide behind multiple personas, making it difficult for others to see their true nature. They may present themselves as charming and innocent, all while plotting behind the scenes. This ability to switch between personalities can make them unpredictable, and when combined with their intellectual sharpness, it becomes a lethal combination in criminal context. Their network thinking on their feet means they can adjust their tactics at a moment's notice, further complicating efforts to predict their behavior or catch them in their deceit. When it comes to criminal behavior, the dark side of Gemini can manifest in several ways. These individuals are typically skilled at hiding their true intentions and can lead double lives with ease. They're adept at creating multiple personas and manipulating those around them, which makes them particularly hard to catch. Their need for stimulation can drive them towards increasingly risky behavior, often taunting their victims or even the police in a game of cat and mouse. They love the mental challenge of outsmarting others, which can lead to a pattern of escalating criminal acts. Gemini's intellectual curiosity can also lead them to experiment with behaviors and ideas that others might find taboo or dangerous. This often shows up in their tendency to rationalize or intellectualize their actions, even when those actions are harmful. Geminis can become detached from the emotional or moral weight of their decisions, focusing instead on the mental challenge of planning or carrying out a crime. They may see their behavior as a puzzle to be solved or game to be won, making them particularly dangerous when they start to push ethical boundaries. This mindset can escalate over time, with the criminal behavior becoming more complex and audacious as the Gemini seeks to outwit both their victims and authorities. Take, for example, Jeffrey Dahmer, one of the most notorious Gemini serial killers. His sun in Gemini, combined with his moon in Aries, created a highly dangerous personality. Dahmer's crimes, which involved dismemberment and cannibalism, were partly driven from his detachment from emotional reality. The intellectual side of Gemini allowed him to compartmentalize his actions, viewing his victims more like objects than human beings. This kind of emotional detachment is a hallmark of the darker side of Gemini, especially when they become disconnected from empathy. Gemini criminals can also be highly manipulative, using their communication skills to control the narrative of their actions. This tendency to deceive and mislead can play out in various ways, from manipulating their victims to manipulating the media or law enforcement. In the case of criminals like David Berkowitz, who played mind games with the police by sending them taunting letters, we see the darker side of Gemini's love for intellectual games. Their ability to engage with others on a mental level while masking their true intentions can make them highly unpredictable and dangerous. Gemini's restlessness can also lead to a lack of remorse or reflection on their actions. This was particularly evident in the case of Peter Sutcliffe, also known as the Yorkshire Ripper. Sutcliffe, a Gemini, targeted women in a series of brutal attacks in the UK. His ability to lead a relatively normal life while committing such heinous crimes in secret is a testament to Gemini's duality. The outward charm and sociability mask a much darker, volatile side that emerges in their actions. For those who exhibit the darker traits of Gemini, it's important to understand how to channel their restless energy into more constructive outlets. One of the best ways to handle this is by encouraging activities that provide mental stimulation and variety, but within healthy boundaries. Things like intellectual challenges, creative outlets, or careers that allow for a greater deal of flexibility and change. Geminis thrive when they're engaged and constantly learning, so giving them positive ways to direct their energy can prevent boredom from turning into dangerous behavior. It's also important for them to develop emotional intelligence. Geminis can become so wrapped up in their intellectual pursuits that they neglect their emotional needs and the needs of others. Encouraging them to reflect on their emotions and build deeper connections with those around them can help balance their natural detachment. Setting clear boundaries and encouraging them to slow down and think through their actions can also help curb impulsive and reckless behavior. Additionally, engaging in mindfulness practices or regular introspection can help Geminis remain grounded and connected to their emotions. Since their minds often race with thoughts and ideas, taking time to slow down and focus on their emotional responses can prevent them from becoming too detached or disconnected. Finding ways to balance their intellectual and emotional worlds allow them to stay in touch with their feelings, ultimately helping them avoid the manipulative or deceitful tendencies that can arise when they neglect their emotional well-being. Finally, having a strong support system can make a significant difference. Surrounding themselves with people who provide stability and grounding energy can help Gemini stay accountable and avoid the traps of restlessness or recklessness. Friends or partners who encourage them to slow down, process their emotions, and remain responsible in their actions can provide a crucial anchor for Gemini individuals who are prone to impulsivity or emotional detachment. As we've seen in the cases of Jeffrey Dahmer, David Berkowitz, and Peter Sutcliffe, when Gemini's darker side is left unchecked, it can lead to devastating consequences. But by understanding these tendencies and learning how to channel them productively, it's possible to manage and even prevent such destructive behaviors. If you want to dive deeper into these cases and learn more about Gemini serial killers, make sure to check out my breakdown video on Gemini Sun serial killers. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to stay updated on my latest content. See you in the next video.